We're getting ever closer to the end of the Indiana Jones Adventure series.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my next to last Indiana Jones Adventure Series review. There is one more coming up after this, which is Wave 3. Reviewed the entire line before, so check it out if you haven't. But today we'll take a look at the exclusives based on Raiders of the Lost Ark, including Temple Escape Indy, Cairo Indy, Map Room Indy, and the Belloq and Brody 2-pack. Alright, let's begin with the Temple Escape Indiana Jones. This is a deluxe set released exclusively to Shop Disney and Hasbro Pulse. I believe it's sold out on both of them at some point or another. I don't know where it's currently available. That's where it was originally released. This is essentially our Raiders Indy we got from Wave 1, but with the pedestal that he claimed the idol from. And so we got some really good box art here. You know, a nice shot of Indy looking at the idol, him trying to swap the idol for the bag of sand, and the boulder, and him running away, which is really great. You can see on the back here, there is the details of what's included. This was, I think, also there's the Wave 1 readout. This was, for me and a lot of people, the, oh man, we gotta buy that same figure again for the pedestal, and well, it's not exactly the same figure. So here's Temple Escape Indy, our most boring figure to look at today because he is more reuse than I think any of the others. First things first, you look at him and you're like, that's the same figure you reviewed already, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it kind of is. He does have the bag. The pistol is in the holster. I have holstered his whip on his hip there. He's got this open hand and this trigger finger hand. And he's pretty much your standard Indy. Accessories-wise, he comes with some similar things to the other one. You get an uncoiled whip that fits in that gripping hand. You also get the idol, which we have, again, already seen before. And then you get the bag of sand, which is actually a new piece. It looks like a bag of sand. The other cool inclusion that makes this a $40 set is the pedestal for the idol. So you got the idol here like that. And then if you try to take the idol by swapping it with a bag of sand, and then it goes in and then the boulder trap activates. So what's really fun about this is the fact you can actually do that. It is, I don't think, worth the extra money. This is like I said, this is a $40 set, so it's like 15 extra bucks. You get this, and you get this that are new, and then you get, you know, 2 whips, the gun, and the idol. Something you're probably wondering about is, well, what, you know, is this the exact same figure from Wave 1? No, it is not. It actually has a lower value to it. I do say the pedestal is nice. I like the kind of, you know, the painted moss thing to it. The little plunger that goes down. It is really big old hollow inside. There ain't nothing going on in there. It's mostly so you can push this back out. It is a little bit of a soft plastic though, so be careful of warping. It's a cool set piece, but I gotta say I dragged my feet picking this one up, and only when I saw Shop Disney had sold out that I decided I should probably grab it from Hasbro Pulse. But let's bring out Wave 1 Indy for comparison. So to recap accessories, coiled whip, pistol, uncoiled whip, idol, sandbag, pedestal. Whereas Wave 1 Indy has pistol, coiled whip, uncoiled whip, idol, 2 pieces of the Ark of Covenant, and 4 extra hands. And that's the key difference here. These are mostly the same figure, and on the surface, you look at the pictures, you're like, that's the exact same figure. However, the Wave 1 version at its $25 price point comes with the 4 extra hands, and it's got the Ark pieces. Now, if you're only collecting Indy, you don't need the Ark pieces. The pedestal is cool, but the question is this worth $15 more? It doesn't come with as many accessories for Indy as this does. This should have included the 4 extra hands. Instead, you just get the bag and the pedestal. So I don't think this set is really to the value that this figure was. So if you look at the actual figures themselves, you can see that they're mostly the same. There's no real difference here, except the hat texture is a little different. So I don't know if this is just like a QC thing, but I've noticed there's like way more weathering on the Temple Escape Indy hat versus the regular one. So I'm not exactly sure if that is intentional. And the pants are a little darker on the original Wave 1 version. So they aren't exactly the same figure, and I definitely don't think they hold the same value. In general, if I was recommending one of these over the other, it's definitely the Wave 1 version. But if you are just trying to display them with the idol and the pedestal, this version's fine too. Though it does feel like there's a bit of a Disney tax applied with that extra price point. So yeah, not necessarily the most necessary thing unless you're trying to collect every single thing from this line like me. This one is definitely holding a better value for its price. All right, next up we have Cairo Indiana Jones. This was a fan channel exclusive, so it was available through online retailers and Amazon. You can see there a shot of Indy. You've got Indy looking very disheveled, ready to just pull the gun and shoot the Cairo swordsman. That's the iconic look there. That happened because everybody had food poisoning on set and they were just ready to move on. Harrison Ford there, likeness for Indy, and then Indy punching one of the guys in the marketplace. So pretty cool. This will make a nice pairing to Marion. On the side you can see a Wave 2 cross-sell. So let's take a look at Cairo Indy. All right, continuing weird pricing. Here is the Cairo Indy. Now I want to preface this with this figure costs $34. I have zero idea why. He pretty much, outside of his kind of loose grip on his wrist there, what the heck? This is pretty much just a standard figure, and yet he's $34. He's $33.99. Don't know why. I have zero clue on this one. Got a head sculpt here where it's a little bit different than our classic Raiders Indy. Don't worry, I'll do a comparison. He's gritting. He's got teeth gritting going on there, which is interesting. He's got, of course, the kind of unclean look. He's been running around Cairo. He's been trying to escape. He's got the bare torso underneath, the rubber overlay, this time the shirt partially untucked, partially tucked in. What was nice is they actually included the holder. It was packed closed, which was nice because all the others have been down and then it's hard to get it to fold back up. And then just in general, standard pants and all kinds of that stuff. That's why I'm like, there's nothing spectacular about this. He does come with his different weaponry that you would expect. You want the pistol, because he did, shoot the Cairo swordsman instead of getting into a sword fight with him. So that's iconic. I think that's kind of what you got to go with. You can have him hold the coiled whip in the other hand, which I think works well. You know, I kind of want him kind of like he's going to pull the whip, but he's not ready to do that. He's like, no, I ain't doing this today. So I kind of like the pistol and then the whip in the hand kind of thing, looking pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, that works really well. You get the uncoiled whip. This one's kind of in a different shape than the others we've gotten. You get the same hands that the Raiders Wave 1 Indy had, which includes the whip grip hand and the open hand and then the two fists. So there's that. And you get Nazi Monkey for some reason. I mean, he, of course, hung out with Indy during this time, but Nazi Monkey came with Marion already. So this is a complete repeat of an accessory. So I once again asked the question, why is he $34? I get why Temple Escape Indy's a little more. He comes with that pedestal thing. This is the same accessory count as the Wave 1 Raiders Indy, except we swapped out Idol for Nazi Monkey. So I get that the monkey is 5 parts, but I don't see why that's extra price considering the monkey came with Marion. She didn't come with all this stuff, but she came with an arc piece. This doesn't come with an arc piece, so shouldn't that absorb the cost of the monkey, especially because he's not even a new mold? I don't get why this is $34. It's nice to have this version, but I don't get the price behind it. So here he is with the Wave 1 Raiders Indy and the Temple of Doom Indy. Going to my point of, well, it can't be because of the overlay thing, because again, that's a normal $25 figure. He comes with a part to the Skull Temple. In fact, I do think that is the same head sculpt on Cairo and Temple Indy. They look about the same, or they made 2 different gritting teeth heads for Indy. Not exactly sure, but you can see like this guy, you know, he also has a rubber overlay with his jacket. So I don't get the price on this one, is my main point here, but there's some Indy comparisons. And then here's the reason they made it. Cairo Indy to go with Marion, who's in her Cairo outfit. It works pretty good. I like the two of them together, and they make a nice set. Map Room Indiana Jones, based on the scene where he takes the Staff of Ra headpiece to the map room. You can see really nice artwork once again of him with the light shining through, and then, of course, a shot of him there, and the iconic scene where the light comes through and passes through the staff into revealing the location of the Ark of the Covenant. This has a Wave 1 cross-sell, despite only being released in October of 2023, where Wave 1 was back out in May. This was originally announced to be a Target exclusive releasing in June. It did not release in June. It came out in October. Luckily, I was able to get my pre-order fulfilled from Target, not a common thing this year with Hasbro stuff, and here he is. So let's take a look at this nice companion piece to Sala. All right, Map Room Indy is up next. What's nice about him is he is a normal figure, even though he's got a bunch of new sculpting. I mean, that new head with the turban here. I guess maybe, again, I don't know, that's not an excuse of being exclusive, because the Cairo Indy also was exclusive, and he was more. Got the bag. He's got kind of some dirt on his sleeves. He looks a little clean, all things considered. I think he looks a little bit cleaner than Sala, but, you know, Sala was having to run around while Indy was down there digging for a map. He has the same legs that he always does, but looks pretty good, I think, overall. It looks it looks like it serves the purpose. And I haven't been doing articulation checks, I guess, because on the others, they were exactly the same as some other figures, so what was the point? We do got a ball joint here, shoulders at 360. He actually has a pretty good movement in his butterfly shoulder. He's got an elbow, rotation, ball joint. I guess I should say you can go 360 on the neck. It's just going to be hard because of the cloth. Waist ratchet, interestingly enough. Legs are a little restricted. Going out this way is impossible. Going forward this way is good. Going forward this way, not so much. You can also bend the knees and rotate them, but on that leg, it's kind of pointless. On this leg, you can get, some adjustment to it if you want. Kind of usual stuff, like nothing surprising, but I did want to highlight it since there is new molding going on here. Now, accessories-wise, of course, he does come with a few things. He does have the same rope mold that Sala does, but unlike Sala's, it's a little bit, brighter of a white. Sala's more of a bone white, whereas Indy's is more of a white, matches his kind of robe thing. And then he also comes with the shovel. It's the same shovel that Sala comes with, except it's a little bit different. So, for example, Indy's here is a little bit dirtier, right? Because it's almost like that one's the used one, and Sala's is kind of clean plastic color. It's the same mold, but I do really like the way this shovel looks. So I'm going to be swapping this over to Sala when the review is done. But then adding to that, of course, we got to get some scene-specific accessories for Indy here. So we've, of course, got the Staff of Ra, which is, of course, the pole part here, and then the headpiece. The headpiece does not remove, probably for molding purposes, probably because putting a little peg there would be easily breakable. So it is nice to at least get it. It is not transparent in any way, of course, it is insanely tiny, but it is the proper height that it should be for Indy. So if you get it into his hand, it can be a little tricky because of the sleeve. You get into his hand here, you can see that the Staff of Ra is much taller than Indy himself, and there you go. So it actually is the proper height on that. And then, of course, you get the little journal with the notes about how to use it, which Indy can hold there. So I think that looks pretty good. His ankles tend to tip forward, like all the Indy ankles do, but you can balance them out pretty good with the staff. So I think that looks really, really nice overall. And much like how Cairo Indy made a nice pairing with Marion, Map Room Indy makes a nice pairing with Sala, since they're from the same sequence. And I think they look really good together. It definitely has that scene kind of in mind when it's going for the look, and I think that's really, really cool. Released as an Amazon exclusive, our only 2-pack of the line, Marcus Brody and Rene Belloq, Ark Showdown. So Brody, of course, is the museum director and professor that, Indy knows, that sends him out on a lot of adventures in the first third movies specifically. So we've got a nice shot of him from Raiders. Marcus Brody, I think an iconic character for fans of Indy. So he's really good to get. And then the other one, of course, is Rene Belloq, now in a suit. I kind of called this figure's existence because I said when I reviewed the ceremonial Rene Belloq, I noticed it said Rene Belloq in parentheses ceremonial. I was like, oh, that means they're planning another Belloq. So there he is. Makes a good companion to a lot of these sequences and kind of gives us a normal Belloq overall. So let's take a look at our 2-pack. All right, let's start with Marcus Brody because I think let's get to a new character. We've been doing Indy. Here's Marcus Brody. I believe this is his first ever action figure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not believe Hasbro got to him in the 2008 line. And Kenner certainly wasn't going to do just a guy in a suit. But it's nice to have. I think even more so, it is Raiders-based, but I do like, Marcus's role in Last Crusade. He is kind of part of the adventure there more so, and I really do like that. Because I think it's really cool to see all these archaeologist guys doing their stuff. So it's really nice to see a figure of Marcus Brody for that reason. I am going to display him more likely with the Last Crusade figures than with the Raiders figures because of him having a bigger part. It does make sense to put him in a 2-pack with Belloq, and that's why making him Raiders-based as opposed to Last Crusade-based also makes sense because you want to put those two together. It is the same suit body we've seen with a few Indies at this point. No real changes. It's got maybe, it's not even a slightly different vest. This is pretty much just Professor Indy with a necktie as opposed to a bow tie. Yeah, that's about it. Same exact figure otherwise. The head sculpt does do a nice job. Don't feel like going over the articulation. He's got single elbows, single knees. They do what they need to do. He does come with a trigger finger hand in case you want to give Marcus a gun. That's just the standard hand. And then over here, he does have this open hand. I keep popping it off today. He can hold the apple that he includes, which I think is a really nice touch. Scene-specific accessory, of course. So he's got the apple there. And then the other accessory he comes with is actually really cool. It's this book. So you can see we've got a book, looks leather bound, pages a little worn, it's got latches on it. Let's, pop the latches, open the book. It's interesting because that's not how a book looks inside. Your pages are going to be not flapping with a huge gap in there. They'll be a lot closer. I've never seen a book that flaps open like that. It should be more like this, but I guess toy plastic. It is actually got stuff written inside. It may not be totally legible, but they did do printing to replicate the interior of the book from Raiders. It's just a lot of text in one image, but boy, did they go for it. It doesn't look right when you have it open like this, because again, these pages would be closer together. There would be like an iris type effect going on with the spine. Sorry, book nerd talking. But other than that, I do think it's impressive they did that, and I do like that it can open. And, getting to hold it is going to be kind of tricky. It's kind of like the stuff that they included, like, yeah, you can get him to hold it. It just looks a little awkward because he's got it like under his arm. But you know what? Let's give him giant book. It makes him feel special. But yeah, no, Marcus Brody, great character. Let's bring Professor Indy back out here because I think that's the good equivalent, having Indy at work, at his normal job, not his crazy adventuring job that we always love to see him in. They make a great pairing together, guys in suits. It will be also nice, say, for example, when we get like Henry Jones Sr. to kind of go with them as well, because he's got kind of professor look too. And yeah, I mean, it's good to get Brody. I'm definitely happy to have him. So here is Belloq, looking really, really dapper in this nice, white suit here. Very good for deserty stuff. Really easy to get dirty. You got, nice head sculpt. I think it's a good likeness to Paul Freeman there. And you've got his suit jacket. He's got the long tie there. Now the jacket doesn't have a vest underneath. It's just a jacket over, so it's a little bit differently tailored than some other suit stuff. I love the way his shoes are done. Really fancy shoes there. He's looking pretty cool. New hat mold as well, but of course it is a whole new head. No removable hat as per usual, just so it looks natural on the figure. Thing that has this shape hat, it's going to be better just to sculpt it to the head to make it look more natural. If it's a rounded hat, you can have that removable. But in general, I do think it does look really nice overall. It does feel like, I think it is a new suit jacket. This isn't the same suit jacket, so you do get a new suit jacket. Probably same arms. No, they are a little smaller, actually. The arms are a little bit smaller on Belloq, which is appropriate because he is shorter than Indy, so they didn't use the exact same mold here. So this actually kind of is, it's a similar sculpt, but I think this is a whole new figure, which would help with the $55 price point of the two-pack. This is an entirely new figure. Brody's got new accessories and new head. That works out, I think, overall. Accessories-wise, speaking for him, he has the same range of articulation as everybody else, so, again, not feeling like we need to go over it. He does come with this weapon of his, which looks pretty good. He can hold it. He can support it here like this. He's just going to go like... He can also work as a gangster, if you want a gangster in your shelf. But, yeah, I think the weapon works good. You can also have him kind of gesturing like he's trying to negotiate or something. It's a good-looking Belloq. I think overall, I like this a lot better than Ceremonial Belloq, because, I mean, Ceremonial Belloq is iconic for, like, the head exploding scene and all that, but if I'm being honest, I feel like this is more the Belloq look. This is just for a specific scene. And that means he also is a good pairing with Tote. Is Tote also... Maybe he's using Tote parts, now that I think about it. Not the legs. The legs are a different texture. And the arms are a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't think he's actually reusing anybody. So it's funny that a lot of people joke, oh, Indy toy lines are a lot of guys in suits. Yeah, there's actually a few different variations to the suit body. They're not all exactly the same. And I think that's really cool because they did do a lot of authenticity there. But a couple of bad guys there together look pretty good. The Belloq and Brody 2-pack is definitely to test your knowledge as an Indy fan. Do you want Belloq in a suit instead of the ceremonial? Do you want Marcus Brody at all? Those are questions you got to ask for yourself. If you want one or the other, it's honestly not bad getting the other either. It does seem a little boring to just action figure-wise because they're just two suit bodies, but if you're looking for suit bodies, there's also an option there. I do like that we got this 2-pack though because I feel like it helped round out the line just a little bit more than what we had in the main waves. So this isn't the most exciting batch of figures. We got 3 more Indies and then 2 guys in suits. But as an Indy fan, I really like the Map Room Indy. I really like the 2-pack. Cairo Indy's cool, but that $34 price is a bad takeaway. Temple Escape Indy's cool too, but again, $40 and you don't have as many accessories as the main figure doesn't feel quite right. So it kind of feels like maybe these two were the budget balancers in Hasbro's corporate checkbook to spend as much money as they did on this line to make that original Indy figure so good. They're like, oh, we can reuse 2 of it and sell them for higher prices, or whatever made the management happy to greenlit the line in general. That's what it feels like from here. As a fan perspective, I do think Temple Indy and Cairo Indy feel overpriced, but everybody else feels right on point, which I think is pretty good. So yeah, that's the Raiders of the Lost Ark exclusives, and that is the next to last Indy video done. If you are waiting for the finale, there is one more wave of figures coming with Wave 3 based on Last Crusade with a couple figures from Dial of Destiny, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on that final Indy video. Also check out all my previous Indy videos if you haven't already. I have covered the entire Hasbro 2023 line so far. Also, while you're down there, hit the like button and leave a comment down below. Tell me how your day's going. Tell me how you enjoyed the video, that sort of thing. Check out the live streams Mondays here on this YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Eastern, and our Discord server in the link below. Also, be sure to check me out on social media if you'd like at Soundout12. And check out my awesome graphic designer on social media and on the Discord at DarkClaw643. And you can check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for movie news and more. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.